Good morning. I hope you all had a good week or weekend. I guess you could be watching this anytime. It might not even be morning time for you. I guess you're having a good dinner or good lunch, maybe a good brunch. Maybe it's 2 a.m. and you're buying some tacos. So I figure it's time to bust out another Q&A video because they've been piling up. My Ask FM account has maybe 80 something questions that have gone unanswered so far. YouTube, I have a couple. Instagram, I have a couple. So I figure it's time to get them out of the way. And if you guys have any questions for me, just go ahead and leave a comment down below about life, music, anything in general. I'll try and get around to answering it, especially if it's worth answering. If you just ask me what my favorite Fast and Furious movie is, I'm probably not going to answer that one. But moving along now, starting off with the first question. What have you been up to lately? I've actually been surprisingly busy. I've been working a lot. I took some headshots a little while ago. I need to see how those are going. I've been trying to get more acting gigs lately, which is kind of hard for this time of year just because, I don't know, Hollywood and the acting world doesn't really do a whole lot during like the winter holiday seasons. I've also been doing a lot of stuff with music lately, which is kind of weird. Like I'm always playing my guitar and just noodling around, but I've been having just a lot of inspiration and motivation come to me in songwriting, which is, like I said, it's weird because normally when I sit down to do anything creative, I usually just experience writer's block for like 3 hours and then I just give up and go play video games or watch something on YouTube. But it's been kind of nice to be able to just sit down and not spend 3 hours trying to create something and come up with something that's cool and that you like and then just work on it. It's been kind of nice. So yeah, I guess that's what I'm up to lately. The next question is, what's your favorite cartoon, movie/show? That one's kind of tough because there's so many of them. I like a lot of the older cartoons, like Dexter's Laboratory, Hey Arnold, Rocket Power was pretty legit. Basically anything that Nickelodeon made and some of the Cartoon Network stuff in like the late 90s throughout like 2000s to late 2000s are probably my favorite. Like even SpongeBob. SpongeBob is pretty legit. And movies is even harder to choose from because there's so many good cartoon movies out there. Like I know it's not really a cartoon, but like Corpse Bride, Coraline, basically anything cartoony that Tim Burton does is pretty cool. I like How to Train Your Dragon. There's too many to name. So yeah, if it's got dragons in it, if it's anything Tim Burton, if it's anything that hits you right in the feels like Toy Story, those are pretty legit. The next question is, are you the type of person who would spend time in the company of a stranger with pleasure, drinking cappuccinos and telling each other stories from life? So the first part of this question that I feel like I need to address is that I would never drink a cappuccino, ever. One, I don't like foam. Two, I'm not that big of a fan of coffee at all. But yes, I do actually enjoy getting to sit down with people that I don't really know, whether it's somebody like an acquaintance from work or just an acquaintance in general, somebody who I just don't know anything about, and getting to sit down and just talking with them, finding out about their life, they find out about my life, can be actually pretty entertaining. I was actually a assistant stage manager for a theater like back in 2013, and the director of that theater just asked me if I wanted to go get hamburgers one day. And it was actually pretty chill. We got to sit down and talk, and we didn't really know anything about each other. And I come from a background of having a bunch of different jobs where I worked for the railroad and traveled to like 30 different states within 6 months, give or take. And I've had jobs where I'm working for like a clothing company. I've done stuff on social media. And he came from a background where he went to school, went to college, basically just stayed in the same town all of his life, didn't really move around, got his degree, and got a job in the field that he wanted. We both came from like two opposite sides of the spectrum in terms of how we were living our lives, and it was pretty cool to be able to sit down and just talk to each other and learn from each other's experiences. So yeah, I would say that sitting down and talking with not really a stranger, but just somebody you don't really know a whole lot about can be a lot of fun and a learning experience for both of you guys. Do you think people who are overly confident interactive with many acquaintances are shallow? I'm going to say no. Just because somebody's confident and has a lot of acquaintances doesn't really make them even like shallow or a deep person. I don't think that's really a way to predict that. I find myself to be pretty confident, and I also have a lot of acquaintances because, like I was saying earlier, I have had a lot of jobs. So I just have a lot of people that I've met just a couple times that I say hi to. And I don't find myself to be shallow at all. I think I'm pretty approachable. Like if you come up to me and you start talking to me, I mean, I'll have a conversation with you, especially if you're hot. I actually get different variations of this song quite a bit, so I figure I just clump it into two parts. And it's what are some songs you have a lot of memories, and what songs define your childhood? When I was in like junior high, I listened to music all the time. I always had a CD player in my backpack, always had headphones on, whether it was lunchtime, in between classes, after school, waiting for my parents to come pick me up, or even walking home. I was always listening to music. That means that there's a lot of songs that define my childhood and give me a lot of memories. But also at that school that I was going to, during lunchtime, they came out with this thing where they would, like, if the kids were good during lunch, they would play music over the speakers that were outside that you, like, they make announcements on during lunchtime. And we always had it was almost like a DJ, I think. And we had the chance to go up there and like request songs. And back then there was two songs that I guarantee you could either always hear at the radio, on MTV, or at the school during lunch. And that was System of a Down's Chop Suey and Alien Ant Farm's Annie, Are You Okay? I got so sick of hearing those songs because I heard them every day during lunch. And it took me probably like 10 years to be able to listen to them again and appreciate them instead of going, not these songs again. But now when I hear one of those songs come on the radio, it has a more of a positive effect on me instead of being tired of hearing them. It brings me back to that time in my life in 7th grade when I was hanging out with my friends, which I don't really see anymore or talk to at all anymore during lunch. And I guess that would actually kind of define my childhood in a sense. And those are like the songs that bring back the most amount of memories, just because, like I said, it was every damn day. What should a single person do when all of your friends are in a relationship? I guess you could always just watch porn. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. There's way better things you could do to be productive in your life when you're single than watching porn. And this is kind of tough because I would like to say that if you have friends that are in a relationship, they should still be willing to hang out with you if they truly are your friends. Like they should be willing, and also, they're the person that they're in the relationship with should be understanding, and they should be able to be okay with your friend going and hanging out with you alone, going over to your house, watching a movie, going to the movies, getting something to eat, whatever. But if that isn't the situation, I mean, it kind of sucks, but go out and get some new friends, man. I mean, I'm sure you work somewhere where you can make friends. Just going to school, I don't know, go out and do something. Go to a church, go to some kind of place where you can hang out and make some friends. And personally, I found that these friends that don't hang out with you when they get relationships, it's not just because you're not in a relationship that they're not hanging out with you. It's just because they're in a relationship. Because I've been in a relationship before at the same time as some of my friends, and they still didn't even hang out with me. So it has nothing to do with you being single. It's more just, I mean, kind of sucks to say, but your friends suck. Alright, this is the last question. A portal to another world opens in front of you. You don't know how long it will stay open, or if you'll be able to make it back after you go through. What do you do? Which world would you choose? And a reminder, you might not be able to get back. Alright, so a portal opens up right in front of me. The first thing I'm going to do is freak out and hide, because who knows what the hell is going to come out of it even before I think of going into it. Second thing I'm going to do, I'm going to find like a book or like a baseball or something, and I'm just going to chuck that bad boy in there and see what happens. So after a while of throwing junk into this portal, like just throwing nonsense into this other world and probably making the people mad or hitting somebody in the head, then I might try and stick an arm in there, maybe see if it burns, or I don't know. And then if all of these experiments go well, I mean, I don't even know how the book thing will turn out, because who knows what the hell happens to them once they go through. But after I stick my arm in this portal and I take it out and everything seems fine, then I might stick my head in this thing. And depending what's on the other side of this portal, since I have no clue, I don't know if I'd want to stay there. Like, what if it's like Rick and Morty and I go through this portal and there's these ugly monster things that are just killing everybody? Chances are I would probably stick my head through it, and then if I survive and pop out, I would call some kind of science-y place and try and make as much money off of this thing as I can. Especially if it's in my house. Hell yeah. I'm going to charge these guys like millions of dollars to come in here to inspect this thing. That's what I'll do. I don't care about going through it. I don't care what kind of books I throw in it. How can I make money? Alright guys, that's it for this Q&A. If you would like to leave a question and have me answer it in the next one, go ahead and leave a comment below. Ask me a question on Instagram, AskFM, whatever. Just ask me a question and I'll get around to answering it. And if you liked this video or found it entertaining at all, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so I can sleep better at night. And hope you all have a good week, and I'll see you next time.
I was trying to make it lying down.